hopes of thousands crushed by lies.
Count every vote! Count every vote. We insist on it because it's time for us to save democracy. Y'all, welcome. Thank you for this opportunity to just be before you, my relatives, my family, siblings, comrades. Greetings. And I come before you in the spirit of Ubuntu, which means I am because you are. The concept that we're all connected, right? And we share a common humanity. Some of you all, I think, most of you know as who I am, Jovanka Beckles. I'm a former Richmond City Council. Some of you may not know that. Richmond, we did that. We just sort of cleaned it up last night as well. Yes, with some revolutionaries back on the Richmond City Council. Yes, some of you may also know, or maybe not, you may not know that when we had a progressive city council on Richmond, we were able to pass the first $15 an hour minimum wage in the state of California. Yes. And some of you may or may not know that we also, revolutionaries in elected positions, we were able to bring $100 million, insisted that Chevron Corporation pay their fair share of taxes like the rest of us. Yes, that's what we can do. And some of you may or may not know that, board of directors, Ward 1. Yes. Yeah, I am pumped, y'all. I'm so pumped because it shows what we can do when we stand together in solidarity. The AC Transit Board, as some of you may know, it oversees the Bay Area and its transit system. And so we're going to continue to fight to put public transit at the heart of the Green New Deal right here in California by taxing rich corporations. That's right, y'all. We're going to tax the rich. But as you know, our fight is bigger than public transit. It's about standing up with workers and fighting for public services that the working class deserve. It's about building a movement to take on the ultra-rich, take back our wealth, and give our planet a fighting chance. That, y'all, is the kind of movement that we need to stop Trump and his racist, far-right Republican Party. We know that Trumpism is just a symptom of a ridiculously unequal, degenerating capitalist society. We know that. So that's why we need to bring working people together around a vision of a world that works for all of us and not just a few. A democratic socialist world, y'all, where everyone has a real say in the decisions that's affecting our very lives and has the resources that we all need to live with dignity. Yes, we know that the Democratic Party establishment, they don't want that kind of movement. They're not ready for us. And they're doing everything they can to stop it. That's why they wouldn't let Bernie win. They just did not want that kind of radical, revolutionary, right, leading us. That's why, unfortunately, we all know this, that the Democrats can't even get their shit together to put up a real fight against the Amy Coney Barrett, right? They can't even put up a fight for that, or any of Trump's paragraphs. So it's going to be up to us, up to all of us, folks like us, organizing in our workplaces and in the streets to stop Trump if he tries to steal this election. But that's why we're going to count every vote, right? We're going to count every vote, right? That's why I'm so glad to be out here, y'all, because we're all in this together, and we're all in this to defend our democracy by withholding our labor and disrupting capitalist profits, by taking to the streets and shutting shit down. We're the only ones who can truly make sure that every vote counts, that every vote gets counted. We need to keep organizing, we need to keep mobilizing, and we need to protesting until that happens. Y'all, I'm so proud to be in this fight together with you. Peace, love, respect, and solidarity.
Some people know me as Chi, and I have been an essential service worker in the Bay Area, in restaurants, for most of my life. But I didn't know it was essential until now. I was a host, I was a server, I was a restaurant manager in Berkeley, and Oakland, and San Francisco. But what you may not know about me is that I'm also a leader in One Fair Wage. And One Fair Wage is an organization working to make living wages and health protocols for restaurant workers nationwide. With the advent of COVID-19, millions of us lost our jobs. And 60% of restaurant workers in this country were ineligible for unemployment. Why, you might ask? Because our income was majority based on tips. And because we weren't provided a living minimum wage, we were not getting access to unemployment. So then what happened? What are you gonna do? You have to go back to work, right? But now, you're a public health enforcer. You're not just a server, you're an essential service worker. So here you are on the front line, putting your life on the line, having to enforce mask mandates to the people who you are dependent on for your income. Tips are down 50 to 75% nationwide, and you may wonder why? Because servers are now having to do what the government should have been doing in the first place. So we have organized strikes nationwide, bringing this truth to bear, and we created Elena, the essential worker. Because Elena is our new Rosie the Riveter. She is a black woman on the front lines, risking her life at the lowest wage sector of this country. And so we are calling on our governments, and we are using our votes to say, we demand one fair wage. We demand health and safety protocols before we go back to work. And that's here in the Bay Area too. They're opening up indoor dining without actually putting health and safety protocols in place to truly protect our essential service workers. And you know what that's going to be? A public health emergency in a few short months. And so what do? We vote, right? We vote. And what we're consistently seeing is that when service workers vote, things get passed. Protections get passed. Wages get passed. We saw it right here in Oakland with the Fight for 15. We saw it in Berkeley. We see it in San Francisco. We see the evolution happening, right? But then we see politicians in other states shutting down the voice of the people. And so now Elena is not just an essential service worker. Elena is an essential voter. She is voting for our safety, she is voting for our protection, and she is voting for one fair wage. Elena is an essential American. And so, in honor of Elena and all of our essential workers on the front lines right now, in hospitals, working on the front lines, we don't think about the ones doing your nails. We don't think about the ones serving your food. We don't think about the ones that are consistently they're having to say, pull your mask up after you take a bite. Because that might be the difference between their life, their parents' life, and they have to depend on you instead of just being able to do their job. Serve food. Serve food, right? It seems like a simple thing, but it has become a mechanism of oppression in this country and a mechanism of inequity in this country. And so we say we want one fair wage, we want protections for all essential service workers, and that our voice must be heard. Thank you so much.